Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 62. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
Mike the Birdman Dodd!
And TFG1 Mike.
I feel outnumbered.
Yes, you
Damn
should.
right you are. By two fat mics.
You know, honestly, between the two of us, we probably are about... You know how they always have wrestling entrances with tag teams, Mike? We're probably about 900 pounds combined.
We are Typhoon and Earthquake, respectively.
Super Podcast Sumo Squad!
That'd be awesome.
So, what's up, guys?
I hate my life, but that's an entirely different kettle of fish, as I'm preparing to sell off a chunk of my collectibles, and I never realized how much crap I have, and how packing it up is a huge pain in the ass. It sucks. Although, if you want to see what kind of stuff I got for sale, at Birdman Dodd on Twitter, I probably have something that you guys would like.
Awesome. Sucks that you have to sell stuff off.
Awesome.
Well, it sucks that you have to...
Awesome in the sense that people may be able to find something.
Well,
it just sucks that you're having to sell it in the first place.
I'm glad some of it's quote-unquote staying in the family. Kevin Optimus Solo is picking up my like He-Man stuff. I literally just spent half an hour digging stuff out. So he's getting 2 giant boxes of stuff. So hopefully he will keep Eternia safe. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, we try to do that every other week over on Powers of Grayskull. Oh, Lord. And for me, other than life crapping on me every single day, the fact that my mom apparently needs knee surgery, there's no other option, so the doctor's appointment she went to this past Monday was a useless visit. Thank God it's covered by the insurance. But IDW Publishing sent me a review copy of Transformers Legacy, the Art of Transformers packaging by Jim Sorensen and Bill Forster. So I am currently flipping through this. It is amazing.
Amazing.
Yes.
I was always a huge fan of that old school artwork, too, that they used to have on the packaging. Although some of it was ultimately really, really out there. But at least it was extremely well done.
Yeah, they use, just to kind of give everybody a preview, Michael Wilson and I will actually finally do Toycast episode 99, basically reviewing this book, but they actually have the 2-page spread. It says here, 1985 Japanese catalog artwork, where it's Optimus and Megatron. Optimus is on the left, Megatron and the Decepticons are on the right. So they actually have the old package art from the back of the boxes to kind of separate the chapters in the book, which is really, really awesome.
How much does the book retail for?
$50.
That's not bad at all, actually, considering how thick it is, I think.
Dude, this thing is, I think it's 200 and something pages, but the thickness of it, it's the biggest coffee table book I've ever seen, and it is about, it's about 3/4 of the size of my computer tower. Putting a DVD case next to it, the DVD case for New Super Mario World only comes up to the Transformers title on the binding. So, it is huge. I have a comparison pic, I think, up on Twitter or Facebook or something, where it's really, really well done, really nice. I can't wait to dig into it and look at all these images, because it's so cool.
I will be looking forward to that.
Yes. As for myself, I've been mostly watching a lot of opinionated video podcasts lately. Some of them I've agreed with, and other ones not so much. But for the most part, I agree with them. And then of course, I've been working on, I don't know, just kind of exposing my brain to more geek culture, you could say. Mm-hmm. Which is difficult because sometimes I'm very close-minded.
Aren't we all?
No one could be as close-minded as you.
Oh, quiet. Shut up, you.
He has a point, you know.
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even start, Dodd. Just don't even.
As they said in Night in the Museum. Moving on.
Yes.
So, what do you say we get into some random media news?
Cool.
That is not so random because it's already selected.
I wouldn't mind talking about the Ghostbusters 3 thing.
That has been a big controversial topic across a lot of things, and I watched I posted the link to it, the movie fights by the people that do the
Screen Junkies, right?
Yep, Screen Junkies. I love those guys. Those guys are really cool over there. Yeah, they kind of broke down that in there about the fact that Sony hired the guy and the writer that did The Heat to do the new movie as like a reboot.
Yeah. That's not cool.
See, I don't mind it being a complete reboot because, honestly, nostalgia is going to color a lot of it for us. And without having the original cast in it, why the hell not? As long as Aykroyd's involved in consulting in some capacity, as long as it feels authentically Ghostbusters, I'm fine with it not happening in the same universe.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be as Ghostbustery as the old stuff because I'm pretty sure that they're eliminating a lot of the ties to the original.
Well, as far as I've been led to believe, it's going to be completely separate, but there'll be nods to it, sort of thing. I mean, in my opinion, as long as Aykroyd designs all their equipment, consults on the script so it has the right amount of techno babble and it sounds right, I'm completely fine with it. I mean, because honestly, those comedians in the original Ghostbusters, like Ramis, Murray, and Aykroyd, and my God, I'm gonna feel like, help me out here, Winston's actor,
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. Now, those guys are our Ghostbusters. For this generation, it makes sense to cast them as people that are going to have a connection to them. Because you know what? We're getting on in years. So they need to start thinking franchise building 20 years down the road. So
okay, so this is the other thing. They're talking about making it an all-female cast.
That could be really cool, depending on who they got.
Because I've heard rumors that they're going to get Melissa McCarthy, like Kristen Wiig, Emma Stone, among other names that have popped into the random hat.
Why I'd like to see them get someone like Kristen Shaw. You might recognize her from Bob's Burgers. She plays Louise. She's also an incredibly funny comedian in her own right. I think she'd be great in it. I don't know about Kristen Wiig, though. I personally hated Bridesmaids.
I did too.
But I can see how funny she actually is. I think Tina Fey wouldn't be a bad choice.
I think she could pull it. I think what they need to do is honestly kind of do what they did with the original. Stick with SNL, retirees, more or less.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who the hell else would work from over there. Tina Fey, Kristen Wiig, honestly, yeah, I guess. Kristen Shaw, I think, would work. Melissa McCarthy, it depends a lot on who's writing her and who's directing her, because
Well, it's going to be the same people that did the Heat.
I don't know about that then, because I really liked her, for example, when she was on Gilmore Girls. She had great comedic timing on there, yet The Heat and Tammy were both friggin' terrible movies.
Yeah.
So she can be funny, but it's got to be the right person doing it with her. So, I don't know, I guess ultimately it's going to depend on the script. And as long as it's not, hey, we're going to fight the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man again, I think it might work. Although, I kind of wonder if they'll take advantage of the whole kind of new age, people really dig Cthulhu right now. I wonder if they'd fight Cthulhu in it, which would be kind of awesome. But then again, they did fight Cthulhu in the original series. With Colette Call, I think it was like in the second season or something like that, second or third season.
I'm kind of wondering because I'm not opposed to them doing an all female cast, but I'm not. I kind of like, and I was watching, like I said, the Screen Junkies guys do it, and I honestly think that having a diverse cast, like not just, yes, definitely have some female presence in there, but kind of mix it up a little bit.
You know who I'd like this? If they were to cast the Janine type character, the kind of secretary, who I think would be really funny for it?
Who?
Michael Cera or Jonah Hill.
I would be more apt to see Jonah Hill than Michael Cera. I can't stand him.
I like him, but if you get him in the right meek role, he's really good. Like, I love him in Arrested Development, yet I didn't love him in Scott Pilgrim, but he was perfectly cast as Scott Pilgrim. Like, you want someone kind of mousy in that role. Although it'd be kind of funny if they could get someone like the black guy from Community, Donald Glover.
Yeah.
He'd be really funny. Man, they should just find a way to put Chevy Chase in this movie. I don't know how. Just find a way.
Just have the cast of Community do it.
Oh my god, that would be an amazing episode of Community if they were to spoof Ghostbusters. Yahoo!
I've already done G.I. Joe.
Actually, having the guy who played Danny Putty might actually be kind of a fun little genre guy to kind of pop in. The guy that plays Abed, or even Yvette Brown would be kind of funny as a Ghostbuster. This sassy black woman. That would be amazing, actually.
If they're gonna change it up, which it's fine. I mean it's not like it's as yes, Ghostbusters was great back in the day, but it's not like it's like Back to the Future where it should never be touched.
Yeah.
It's I think that it's not reboot proof, whereas Back to the Future I think is kind of reboot proof, only because it would suck if it was any other way.
I would disagree with you there. They could reboot Back to the Future, but it would be different. The thing is, they'd have to find a way to pass the torch, and with time travel, you could always touch that alternate realities thing where there's like a divergent timeline sort of thing. So you could do it. You know what they could do, Steve? They could Star Trek it.
No, I'm good.
No,
I'm honestly kind of sick of the whole reboot thing.
Oh God, yeah, so am I, because Hollywood is creatively bankrupt, but it's going to happen. Mark my words, children. It's going to happen.
Well, and it's almost as bad as, and I hate saying it, but because I do love a lot of the films, but superhero films are just destroying the box office. Because it seems like they're flooding it with it, and that's all that we're seeing.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there at all. I mean, but you have to think, because they saw how something super successful was, and now they're going to try and pump out as much crap as they can. But that's what I'm worried about. See, I don't mind getting superhero films as long as we don't get crap.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot of crap, I have a feeling.
Yeah, one of the new Marvel Phase 3 movies is going to fail. And I think it's either going to be Ant-Man or it's going to be Doctor Strange. It's going to be one or the other.
I have more hope for I don't know, the Doctor Strange. They're still flip flopping on who's going to be cast. It's I don't know. I'm not.
They got their
I'm
damn
not
mind to just cast the role.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure that they already have somebody in mind, but they're floating around names now like Matthew McConaughey and Jake Gyllenhaal and people like that. And
I can see Gyllenhaal, but Matthew McConaughey. That's just.
you'd be like, hey,
That's really weird. Hey, Dormammu, Baron Mordo, dude, just relax. No, that would be terrible. Funny, but terrible.
now if they're going for a comedy Doctor Strange, that would work.
If they turned Doctor Strange into a really weird comedy, it could work. But then again, I think Marvel has they've kind of spoiled themselves because they saw, hey, if they'll buy a talking raccoon with an Uzi, they'll buy anything. So with the success of Guardians, they're going to take more risks, and I think eventually one of these risks is going to blow up right in their face. I hope not.
Well, like now they're talking, and this is all stupid fan site, geek site speculation about them doing Civil War, which obviously there's no, solid evidence of them doing, but everybody's reporting it like it's actually canon.
I could see the seeds being planted because you could see it at the end of Iron Man 3 and in Winter Soldier, but there's not that many costume heroes out there to create the Civil War itself.
Well, they'd need to pull from, Sony's and Fox's lineup too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're already talking about how, because Marvel wants to give Fox the middle finger, they're killing off the Fantastic Four because they want to try and suffocate that line.
Well, they want to suffocate it and try and fold it back in, which would be nice.
Which it's kind of shitty how Sony is willing to work with Marvel to bring Spider-Man in, yet Fox is like, nope, not gonna do that.
Especially when Marvel owns it.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Although to be fair, Fox has a pretty good deal of success with their shared universe stuff now that they're expanding out to having Deadpool and everything else in their shared X-Men universe. And Days of Future Past and X-Men First Class proved, hey, you know what? We made a mistake, but we can fix that. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm loving all these superhero movies. I'm really curious to see what DC is going to pump out, because I would love to see another Green Lantern movie. It's not going to happen.
Well, not right away anyway.
Yeah. I'd love to see something like, The Spectre, or I'm trying to think of other DC heroes. I'd love to see like a Nightwing movie or something, or Batman Beyond. My God, I'd give my left testicle for one of those.
Well, and see, that would be perfect to have Michael Keaton come back.
Yeah, have him as like older Bruce. That'd be fucking awesome.
Because then because he always said that the role was about playing Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that'd be so cool.
And he said he'd come back and do it as long as Tim Burton directed it. And I think, if they're going in that dark kind of neo-Gotham direction, and because Burton kind of has that goofy, weird kind of look to his films, I think he could actually pull off a Batman Beyond film.
I think you're right, because his artistic style would kind of mesh. As long as he's not tossing skulls and fucking Beetlejuice stripes everywhere, it would be fine.
And as long as Johnny Depp is
about Tim Burton.
Yeah, and as long as Johnny Depp is nowhere near the movie,
I'd be okay with Johnny Depp in it. Just I don't know what he would do.
The only thing I can think of is he could play Ghoul, one of the Jokers.
I'm trying to think if there's any other villains that he could really do that's in Batman Beyond. Not really.
Yeah, there's not really that many.
Yeah, now, admittedly, my experience with Batman Beyond is limited to just the TV show. Like, I know there's the ongoing comic, but...
That's gonna end.
Well, that sucks.
Yes, they're apparently canceling it after Chapter 40, which is in 3 weeks.
That's stupid.
Yep.
You hear that, DC? You're stupid.
Yeah, I've said that on occasion.
Up in your face.
I jumped over to Marvel for Pullback episode 89 to talk about Avengers and X-Men Access because I didn't care about Batman 35.
Is that the one with the Batgirl selfie cover?
No, that's Batgirl 35. Batman 35 is apparently taking place after Batman Eternal wraps, so it's a future story, and apparently it has the Joker in it. I don't like what DC is doing, where they still have Eternal going, yet their main comics are taking place after Eternal's end, which hasn't even come yet. So
I wish I worked in the comic book industry, because then I could throw all common sense right out the window.
Hey, they're good at that.
It's true.
Don't take that away from them. But yeah, I mean, I honestly, I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm gonna probably enjoy what they're gonna do with Affleck as Batman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think for as much crap as people gave Affleck when he got cast, myself included, which, you know, we quickly flipped the boat on that one, but I think he's going to end up being the greatest Batman we've ever had.
There's a lot of people out there that would argue that with you, regardless if they, you know, obviously none of us.
I mean, I'm still a huge Keaton
right,
fan.
Yeah.
But I've never been a fan of Bale, of his Batman.
The Dark Knight is the only movie in the entire trilogy that I can watch over and over and over again. The other two,
the one with the Joker?
Yeah, the other two, I just don't care.
I can watch Begins, but not Rises.
I
just
can do the same thing.
Really friggin' boring.
Well, Rises, there was a lot of inconsistencies. Plus, they pulled from like 5 different comic plot lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, pick one and do it well.
Yeah. Whereas, like, The Dark Knight, I felt that was the best out of the trilogy.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it was so hard to top because you had Heath Ledger in there. So, I mean, other than that, they could have gone with... I would have been happier if they went with, like, the Riddler or somebody new. Because we'd seen Catwoman on screen before. We'd seen Bane on screen before. I mean, the Talia bit was new, and the Scarecrow and Ra's were all new. But, I mean, the rest of them, I don't know. But yeah, I still think Affleck's going to be the best one. But if they weren't going to go that direction, or if they're going to keep doing, like, one-offs, and even though I kind of wish that they would, instead of trying to do an expanded universe like Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they could have crossover films, but they should be, like, standalone.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, because right now they're doing nothing but catch-up.
And see, that's been DC's problem, DC and Warner Brothers. That's been their problem the whole damn time. They're playing catch-up to Marvel. If they would have done, and I know our listeners here on Ultra Geek are tired of hearing me say this, if they would have announced Man of Steel 2 and let the Superman franchise at least get one more movie under its belt and allow Henry Cavill to deal with what happened in the first movie, then go into like at the end of Man of Steel.
They're going to have that happen in this film.
Yeah,
the repercussions because of what he did in the first film is going to be the reason why Batman comes and thrashes him.
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't. I don't know. Whatever. It's one of those things where, honestly, after Rises, if they were going to then create their own dang universe of movies, Steve and I have said this before on the show, start with Justice League and then branch out. But, that's not what they're doing.
Yeah. So, yep. Kind of jumping around a little bit, since we have all that. Have you checked out the Lego Batman 3 stuff?
Yes.
I'm vaguely familiar with it. I'm kind of hoping they send me a review copy of it. Mostly because I want to play as Conan O'Brien.
I know they let you play as him, but I know they also he's like your Alfred, kind of telling you what you're doing right and wrong during the game. Because I watched the trailer and that's what they have him doing. But I'm pretty sure that they have you playing as him because I know you can play as Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs around with like a microphone.
That's amazing.
And they got Stephen Amell from Arrow playing Green Arrow in the game, which I think is awesome. And then they have, of course, Adam West playing Batman, which is another reason. I think that game's going to rock, not only because it's Lego, but just because of the voice cast.
I think the Lego Batman games are almost consistently really, really, really good. Although Lego Marvel Superheroes, I think it was last year or the year before last, was really good too. Because that formula was starting to get tired, and then they're like, hey guys, here's something new.
Yeah, I haven't played the Marvel ones yet. I've played the Star Wars ones in the past, and I enjoyed what I did play of those, but and I do have it's one of the Lego Batmans. I'm not sure if it's one or two. It's whatever one's got Superman in it.
Two then.
Okay. And you got Lex and the Joker kind of teaming up, and I'm actually stuck at the zoo part, but I can't seem to get the story to go past it. But yeah, I mean, I've played that game, and it's kind of enjoyable building the stuff and blowing up and changing the suits and whatnot. Alrighty. Jumping into a little bit of tech or whatever. There's this new lithium-ion battery that they have out, or that they're kind of working on or whatever. It's supposed to charge 70% in 2 minutes and last for 20 years.
Give it to me now.
That's kind of my thought. We need those in laptops, man.
You need those in laptops and cell phones. I mean, that alone will revolutionize emergency medicine. Stuff like that. It's weird because something like that it'll work in really unique fields, ones that you may not think of. Now, once they miniaturize this tech, which I imagine they probably will, man, imagine if you had a toy that would last forever, more or less. Or a cell phone, like I said, considering how quick it charges, like having those equipped into ambulances, like just I don't know, just the possibilities for this are insane. But I wonder what it's going to cost. What are the costs? What are the cost barriers? And how are companies like Duracell and Energizer going to react to it?
Yeah, I kind of wondered about that too. Mostly the price is what I wonder about, and if this is actually going to come to fruition, and if it's actually cost effective. It could essentially put Energizer, Duracell, and all those other ones out of business if they don't conform or at least have something on that level.
My guess is someone will challenge that patent or something. It's kind of like or it'll be ludicrously expensive, like how we have hybrid and electric vehicles now. Sure, you can have it, but you better have deep friggin' pockets.
Well, from what I'm reading on the article, it says a team of researchers in Singapore developed it, and it's actually just an improvement upon existing lithium-ion technology. Mm-hmm. They instead of using like this graphite to create the nodes, they use this apparently cheap titanium dioxide gel, kind of almost Star Trek-ish with gel packs, to turn it into using like a material that's like sunscreen to kind of pass it along faster, I guess, which is interesting. They said that that they'll have the new technology on the market in just 2 years. Thoughts?
I like pie.
I think it's interesting. And we've noticed now that a lot of the battery life, I've heard a bunch of reports out of the iPhone 6 camp about the battery life in that thing where, you had it charging for whatever the initial charge is supposed to be, and then you've maybe been using it. Like our buddy Jesse from Digital Static Podcast, formerly TF Wire, he's a big iPhone junkie, and he says that, he had his iPhone 6 out and was doing stuff with it for about an hour, and the battery only went down like 5%. So,
Yeah, battery life in phones are getting a lot better. I have the Galaxy S5, and my Mondays I use it a little bit more than I do normally. But for instance, today it's 11:20 at night, and my phone's at 68%. And that's from getting it unplugged at 6 a.m.
Right. That's not bad at all.
No, I mean, normally on days where I use it a little bit more, it might be like 58%, but still, I use still about half the battery in a day, and then I put it on the charger. So,
yeah, my iPhone battery life sucks, and I do whatever I
You
can
have the
to
older
maximize
one?
it. Yeah, well, I just got an iPhone 5S about a month and a half ago. It's nowhere near as bad as my 4S was. But when I see people with their Samsung Galaxies or whatever, I'm like, Jesus, man, you run circles around me. Mind you, I don't know. I like the iOS, I really do. I like how it's typically the first platform developed for now. But Android is so versatile. There's something about it. I think I fear change. Because I've reviewed a couple cell phones before in the past, but that was when Android was very much in its infancy. And I didn't much care for it, so I don't know. I may be taking another look at it, because I know Blair's phone needs replacing in the worst way, so maybe I'll get her a nicer new Android phone, and maybe it'll convince me, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, if I got something again, it would be an iPhone, because that's, I use iTunes a lot, and I like the Galaxy S5. It looks cool, but it looks too damn big.
It's the same size as the Galaxy S, or as the iPhone 6.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It just, I think when I say it looks too big, I mean that it in the advertisements,
It's the same size. But, yeah, because I remember back in the day, Apple was like, oh, their phones are too big. And now they're like, oh, look at our phone.
It's huge.
It's the same. Yeah, they're just, it's funny watching it go back and forth. That the funny thing is everybody's, there were a few incidents where people were complaining about the iPhone 6 being bent in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And Samsung, not missing a beat, made a machine where it makes an ass print. It's a machine that sits down and with the phone in its pocket, and it's like, oh, the S5 doesn't bend. Or the, yep.
Yeah. Wow. That's funny.
Yeah, I'd rather have my phone be more powerful as opposed to smaller. I don't know. There comes a point where it's too thin. I mean, you're virtually dialing on a freaking cracker anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or these phablet phones, which are ridiculously huge and yet thin. Why?
Because it's fun.
I guess we all want to look like we're using the Star Trek pads or something, except less cool.
Well, it's because people want to be able to see their phone now.
There's an app for that. You can turn your iPhone or Android into the Star Trek pad.
Yeah, but you got to pay for it, and I don't want to do that.
No, so. I know, but I'm just saying that I've seen,
the thoughts crossed my mind.
Anyway, what is this app called?
I don't know. I'd have to ask my buddy Optibotimus.
I actually thought about buying when I went to upgrade I almost wanted to buy a Microsoft phone.
I would have only for Cortana.
That's pretty much it. Well, I mean that I was kind of wanting to try something different. I'd had Android for a while, so I was like, and I absolutely despise Apple. So unless it's for some of their purposes of media editing, but other than that, I hate Apple. As far as their mobile products. So, but yeah, so last week, Blanchard and I were talking about comic genders and race and all this other stuff.
And did you piss people off?
We pissed one person off. Everybody else was pretty much.
This is not. This is finally me not pissing somebody off.
Yeah, I mean, I was having an ongoing conversation. Like to begin with, and this is getting into the comments before we round it out, but we did talk about like Adam Sandler signing the deal with Netflix, and then we kind of had a back and forth about me and with a couple other people of what films of his are great and what are not, and they're hoping that the rest of his films would be on Netflix and not in the theater. And I said, no, it's just 4-picture deal. He's still having theater movies, but there was a ongoing argument because one of the listeners took offense to a comment that was made of why I thought comics were getting kind of PC with their changing characters to different genders or races all of a sudden, simultaneously, Marvel.
Yeah.
And so he took offense to it, and then he started asking me about, if I took offense to, the wrong race or whatever being, Goku in the Dragon Ball movie or Prince of Persia or stuff like that. And I said it has nothing to do with that. I just like things the way that they were originally designed. I don't like them altering for no reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Mike Powers said that, what he said was the whole reason was a legal battle with the Kirby estate. And then it got back and forth. And then I think Kevin kind of off to a solo kind of finally ended the conversation.
Where you dug yourself into too deep a hole.
Kevin has this knack of being able to shut somebody down. Just being able to shut somebody down immediately.
And I wasn't trying to be an asshole about it. I clearly was trying. I was trying to avoid that in my conversation about it. I just was saying that I thought that they were being PC about the whole thing. I didn't take into consideration that that possibly there was a Kirby estate battle or whatever. And this same listener, and I'm not going to call him out or anything. It's already been on the post, but. Also had a similar issue on Talking in Circles a couple months back when they kind of talked about the same thing when it was all announced. I don't have a problem with them changing the characters per se, but I just thought that it was like the fact that they were doing it all at the same time, which kind of bothered me. But
yep.
Thoughts?
No, I mean, Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, Blanchard, go ahead. Okay. I don't have a problem with you. If you're going to change it and make it more interesting, why the hell not? If you're doing it for the sake of just fun, then don't bother. Honestly, make the character interesting. Don't change it for the sake of just being different. Like, for example, a character that it doesn't matter how you play it, but you can change the sex of the character. For example, Mass Effect. You can play male Shep or you can play female Shep. The storyline and dialogue is virtually identical, yet male Shep is considered the canon Shep, but female Shep is a better game, I think. And that may just come down to voice performance, whatever, from Jennifer Hale. Mm-hmm. But having a female character makes that galaxy much, much more interesting. For example, changing the Fantastic Four's Johnny Storm into a young black man, I question why you're doing it. What is this adding to the character? Like, are you trying to make a statement on race, on diversity? I mean, because anybody can be the Human Torch, frankly. It doesn't have to be a white guy. It can be anybody. but why are you doing it? What dimension is this adding to the character? I don't care what a character is as long as that character is interesting. So I don't see a real problem with it, because like you could trace this right back to even the Ghostbusters all female cast argument. You know, why the hell not?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those big things where now diversity is a huge thing, and it should be. Diversity should definitely be celebrated, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I'm trying to think of other examples where it's been made kind of a big deal about diversity. I know there's a crap ton of gay superheroes now. That's awesome, and it's been around for a really long time. Like North Star and the other dude from Alpha Flight, whose name I can't remember.
Well, I mean, even one of the original Green Lanterns.
Alan Scott, yeah, from Earth 2's gay or something. So, you know, I don't see the big deal. I mean, awesome. He likes dudes. What does that matter? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just want it. I want interesting characters and interesting stories. It doesn't matter how that character's portrayed, as long as it's accurate. It gives good depth, and it makes the story better in some capacity. Just make them interesting. We'll worry about their physical characteristics later.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I don't want to see them just do it to do it.
Yeah, make it happen.
If they've got, you know, if they're doing like an entirely, and the thing is I wasn't really trying to get up in arms about it. I was just more so stating my opinion that I think that they were using it as a cash grab more than anything else. Because like, if the story is pushing it in that direction, you know, kind of like the Captain America losing his super serum and Falcon getting it, and then he takes up the mantle of Captain America.
Yeah.
Then great, you know, whatever. I just, you know, I don't want to see them do it just to, you know, try and make a cash grab, saying, oh, our characters changed into this now so that you can buy our comic. Yeah,
like, definitely when the marketplace dictates the changes that are happening with a character, that kind of sucks. Because I think in the 90s you could see a lot of that with, like, this character is so extreme, or whatever. So, yeah, if you're changing it for the sake of selling more comics, that's stupid. But if you're doing it for a creative, story-driven reason, why not? But at the same time, people still got bills to pay, books still have to get out on the shelf, so...
Yep, and that was kind of the general consensus in the argument in there, other than the one person, is what it was coming out to be. Like, everybody was kind of saying, if the story's, you know, going for it, then, you know, cool. If the story sucks, then, you know, change it back. But the funny thing about comics is nothing stays permanent.
Yeah.
You can be pissed off at the storyline, and a year later, they'll change it back.
Yep.
Because they'll either get new writing staff, or they'll figure out that it's not selling. So, or they just kill a character for a year and bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, very rarely does shit stay the same. I mean, hell, even Wally West came back after a while as the Flash, or was it Barry Allen? Either way, one of the Flashes was dead for a really damn long time, and now, hey, I'm back. So,
well, and now they're making Wally West African American now too. So.
Already on.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Whatever will sell.
That's fitting with the Flash TV show,
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that kind of was the pissing contest going on in the comments last week.
Just so we're super clear, we're all pro diversity as long as it's not for a stupid reason.
As long as the story dictates it, then super.
Exactly. But if you're making him a crippled black lesbian to sell books, we've got a problem.
That's probably the best. That's probably the best example you could give right there.
Exactly. Crippled black blind lesbian. There we go. Let's hit all the bases.
Okay, so Daredevil 2.0.
Yep, in a wheelchair, and he's gay.
Professor Daredevil.
Oh my god.
No, oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. I'm going to hell.
Like I said off air, dude, apparently you need to be more controversial on this show. That way you get comments.
I can piss people off. Don't worry. I can piss. I'm sure we're gonna get mail for that last comment of mine. So.
I'm sure. Oh, this is funny. Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
Really?
That's still making headlines. Seriously?
Yeah, because now they're saying that Orlando Bloom might return, and then now they're saying
that's what I was gonna say. What the hell has Orlando Bloom been doing since?
Well, he was in The Hobbit.
Okay, all right, yeah, fair enough.
What?
But he keeps going back to his old franchises because he ain't doing a whole hell of a lot of anything else.
I think after filming stops, they put him in a freezer until he's needed again.
Well, you know,
he's kind of like the Winter Soldier of acting.
Yeah, my whole thing is, what the hell has he done outside of the J.R.R. Tolkien stuff, and
the Pirates
and the Pirates films, other than get his house broken into by the Bling Ring? I mean, seriously, come on.
I don't know. Let's look up his filmography. Let's see what.
Oh God, this ought to be fun.
Come on.
So while Mike's doing that,
yeah, because they got Javier Bardem.
Yeah, Javier Bardem.
May joining Pirates 5.
Let me see. So starting in with his career, beginning back in Pirates of the Caribbean, so back in 2003, Lord of the Rings, The Calcium Kid,
Never heard of it.
Kingdom of Heaven I've heard of.
Yeah.
Elizabethtown I've heard of.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's actually based around the town that's about 30 minutes from where I live.
The Three Musketeers?
That's one of the reboots. It's not the Disney version. It doesn't matter.
And he did Romeo and Juliet this past year.
Oh, Lord.
Why do we need another one of those? Isn't there like 5?
Yeah.
And there's Romeo, Juliet, and robots, then I'm interested. If we can get Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, I want Romeo, Juliet, and a cyborg. Honestly, yeah, I don't see him. He hasn't done a whole lot. So like I said, evidently my theory of him being put into a freezer is relatively true. Although he spent 2009 in cryostasis because he didn't do anything that year. So they didn't thaw him out in 2009, but they thawed him out in 2010.
Yeah, but they brought him out for like a week so that he could do all these bit parts.
Yep. So yeah, Orlando Bloom. You know what he is? He is the actor that was made inside Walt Disney's laboratories. Underneath Space Mountain, there's a giant facility just filled with jars of infant Orlando Blooms. Infinite rows of them. And when they need him, they will send them out into the world.
Please do not give them ideas, Mike, to replace Cavill to have Bloom be the next Superman clone. Oh, God!
He won't be a Superman clone.
Man of Steel 3, Bizarro World. He could be Bizarro.
Superman versus Orlando Bloom. Not a superpower Orlando Bloom, just thousands of Orlando Blooms. You have the technology.
No, he'll be the next Green Lantern.
Oh, my God. Give it time.
It'd be an improvement.
Kyle Rayner.
Oh, hell no. Screw you. Hell no.
He ain't Guy Gardner. That's for goddamn sure.
Kyle Rayner deserves better than Orlando Bloom.
See, I think Ryan Reynolds would have been a good Kyle Rayner, but not a Hal Jordan. I don't see that Hal. I really don't.
I could get
He's
that.
He's got to put his comedy stick away. That's the problem with him doing superhero movies.
No, he would have been an awesome Flash.
Which
Reynolds
version?
would have been a wicked Flash. Barry Allen. He would have been a wicked Barry Allen.
Maybe.
Because when I think of the Flash, I think of Michael Rosenbaum's performance. Mm-hmm. I could see Ryan Reynolds pulling that off.
Yeah, that's Wally West, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so now that we've discovered Disney's dark secret.
Next week on Altered Geek, find out what else is in Disney's vault.
Oh my God! Future Spock has to talk about this, about the sequel of Orlando Bloom. Future Spock has to tweet at least once a day one bit of random nonsense, even if it's the back of a soda cracker.
Future Spock did post today.
What did Future Spock say today?
I will pull that up. Future Spock posted. I'm not going to dignify that with a response. And then he says, therefore, to not play with it would be illogical.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Yep. But 39 minutes ago, he put, fine, I will just use the teleporter. Oh, right, you broke it.
Oh, see, this is the best thing about Future Spock being in The Big Bang Theory as a voice actor, is you can take so many lines out of context, because that's where I got those lines for Steve to use last week in the episode. It came from when he voiced the toy, when Sheldon broke Leonard's transporter a couple seasons ago.
They need to have him come back just so there's miscellaneous nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
It's, with his throwaway part and everything. So, alrighty. So I'm gonna say that this episode's pretty much in the can.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, anything you guys want to pimp out before we close it out?
Yes. Next Friday, on October 24th, I begin my charity for Toronto Sick Kids Hospital. I'm playing from 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time until Sunday at noon, so 36 freaking hours, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, if you want to find out more information, you can donate at birdmangivesback.com. 100% of all donations go directly to Toronto Sick Kids Hospital. I'd like to raise $1,000. I've done just over 500 now, so anything helps, because you're going to help a child in need. So, birdmangivesback.com.
And for me, go check out the GCRN's new TV podcast, Remote Control, taking care of everything from 2000 and whatever now is as far as television goes.
So there. Visit it. Do it now.
Don't anger Orlando Bloom!
Or Future Spock will eat him. Because, anything else would be illogical. Want to interact with the show? You can get a hold of us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. You can email us, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Be sure to leave us feedback on iTunes. We could sure use some new stuff. You can get a hold of us on Twitter, and my Twitter handle is @SCP21.
TFG1
At Birdman Dodd.
So, as always, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.
Future Spock!
Oh no, they sent the wrong Spock. Live long and suck it, Zachary Quinto.